Hey, Anil Gunjal here, the spiritual technologist, and today I wanted to talk about why we get sick. Really, what does it signify? Now, I was always thought or programmed to believe that, if I have diabetes, then it's because my grandfather had it. And if I got cancer, that's because, it's just increased these days, or it's genetic, or it's got something to do with what I did, or something that's happened in my life that's caused this. And you're not taking care of yourself, you're not working out, you're not eating the right foods. Now that does have a lot to do with it, and we'll get into that. But when we look at our bodies, we are all energy, right? We're all energy, we're all connected. Our energy, our bodies, they vibrate, right? If you look at them very closely under a microscope, they vibrate. That vibration is a certain frequency. And if that frequency is out of tune, that is where you start having physical ailments. Also, our bodies are have what we call energy centers in them. If you look at the chakra system, and all that is an energy system, seven of them in our body, starting from your tailbone all the way to your head, to the top of your head. There are others, but that's not a discussion for this video. And these energy centers actually keep the energy flowing from the bottom to the top throughout our body. It's more like a channel, straight channel. Chinese, if you look at acupuncture, they have these meridians. Similar, these are all energy points in our body. And when we have an ailment and we look at that particular part of the body or the location, that actually gives us a lot of idea of what's going on. And I'll get more into that into a second. But when we go to a doctor or we have an ailment, we go to a specialist, we're given some type of medication, and what that medication really does is all it does is put a band-aid on the solution. So if you have a headache, instead of looking at why that headache is happening, they'll give you some painkiller, and that pretty much goes for everything, right? From back pain to foot pain. If they feel you have an infection, you'll immediately get an antibiotic, and you move on. Most of the time, the body just heals itself because our bodies are magnificent machines that can actually heal themselves, believe it or not. And the body can heal pretty damn fast once you figure out what it's wrong. Now, pharmaceuticals and the doctors told you could do this, then you wouldn't go back and get more medication and go see more specialists and get more procedures. And that won't make more money for them. So obviously, they're not going to tell you that. But again, another discussion for another time. So, if we look at these energy centers, there's seven of them, starting from the from our tailbones, which are our root chakra, that's really connected to the ground, right all the way through the heart, to the sacral, through the throat, all the way to the crown, right. And if the energy is flowing clearly straight through, no issues, an easy way to know where there is blockage. So, and I'll take a step back. And the reason for that is that the energy is flowing. It's a channel, right? And the energy is flowing through. If something happens on one part of that area where the energy is blocked, that's where you start having a lot of your ailments. And that blockage could come from something that's happened today, it's happened in a past life. You might have an entity attached to you, or it could be something there. It could even be a thought, right? It could be a simple thought that, hey, I'm always sick. Um, I have heart disease in my family, so I'm gonna have heart disease too, and you manifest these things. Um, so if we take a look at our body parts, each area of your body signifies something. And if you look at the function of that body part, right, it tells you what's being blocked. And you can actually sit in meditation, go to that body part and say, like, what is going on? Why is this happening? So, if you're having trouble with your eyesight, it's because you're not seeing something in your life. If you're having a hearing issue, it's because you're not listening to something in your life. Could be this life, could be a past life. People that have back problems, lower back problems, taking on too much burden in the world. And that's manifesting into back pain or taking on too much burden or too much responsibility. Again, that's a burden that you're taking on. Cancer, which is a very, very big thing right now, it does have a lot to do with the food also, but cancer is really anger and resentment that you're keeping inside of you and that's manifesting into a cancer. That's why you'll see people that have cancer have it removed for a certain part of the body and then it shows up somewhere else because, yes, you've removed the cancer, but you actually have not gotten rid of the anger or resentment. And same thing, you can go knee. You're not going in the right direction in your life. Same thing with the foot. You're not moving in the right direction. You're not doing something right. Hearing, you're not listening to something. Either you're not listening to yourself or you're not listening to what the universe is telling you. And you can go through each and every body part, right? And say, like, what's going on? Diabetes. You're not giving yourself any self love. You're being too harsh on yourself, right? Being overweight is another one, is no self love, but it also has to do with past lives. Now, that's another thing. If it's happening on the left side of your body, that means it's come from a past life. If it's happening on the right side of your body, it's from the present life. So if your right ear is not working like mine, I'm not listening to something that the universe or somebody is telling me, or I've decided to shut something out of my life, and that's what's caused it. And again, I have to sit in meditation each day and try to figure out what that is. And you can do the same thing. It's all about visualization. And once you realize it, things start turning around pretty quickly. Overweight is another one. A lot of people are overweight because they don't have self love, they lack self love, there's bitterness in their life, and they just eat food and it just keeps gaining weight because you're fulfilling yourself, because you don't have the self love or you don't have the love or you don't think of the self worth about yourself, and you're just filling yourself up with food to make up for it. So these are all different things that you can work on. Um, there is a book called by Julian Cannon, Dolores Cannon's daughter. Is called Soul Speaks. And at the end, it gives you an index with all the ailments you have, and it tells you exactly what's wrong with you. And you could either forgive the person, you can forgive yourself, you can heal from a past life trauma, and you can actually go to that body and part in meditation and say, like, what's going on, and it will tell you what's going on, and you can heal yourself pretty quickly. Now, I know I've been saying a lot of things about the medical field, but when it comes to trauma, getting into the ER and fixing bones, and that's unbelievable what they do. But when it comes to these long-term illnesses like cancer and diabetes, there's so many natural remedies for it. And that's the other thing. If you can't heal yourself, or it's a past life trauma, or there's something going on there, there's basically a plant for the ailment that you have on Earth. Mother Earth, Gaia, has given us all these different remedies that we can actually use. And you can actually find a plant, an herb, or something for that, right? And you can actually heal yourself with that herb. It doesn't necessarily need you have to take pharmaceuticals. Everything from fevers to allergies to different types of diabetes, cancers. Like there's things that you can experiment with. Now, again, check with your doctor. I'm not giving anybody medical advice here. You need to figure out what's right. This is really where you have an ailment and they have not been able to find what's wrong with you. So you need to get to the root cause of it. I'll be making more videos on this. If you have any questions, please comment below, and thanks for listening.